Welcome to the commentary booth where we watch and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play by play commentator Jamie Apps, and each week I'm joined by a rotating cast of colour commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by an impact fee technician who lists their favourite movie as A Nightmare on Elm Street and favourite TV show as Golden Girls. Welcome to the show, Karina Maybe.
Hello. Howdy, howdy.
Yeah. Me.
Yeah.
Same old, same old.
Yeah. I did not float away. I didn't blow away. I didn't drown. This whole tropical storm slash hurricane Debbie went up the armpit of Florida instead. So I just
Is
got a
it
lot of rain over here.
is it technically still a hurricane or has it been downgraded?
It was a hurricane, I think, when it hit. If I'm not mistaken, it was like a category one. It was really low, like super low. It was just a lot of rain and wind, and there's like a ton of fucking flooding now up in the Panhandle and shit. And now it's
Fantastic.
heading to Georgia and shit. I think when I was watching the news, it was just hitting Savannah or coming into Savannah. So good times.
So it's a pretend hurricane.
I mean, it technically hit a category one, which for us is just an afternoon rainstorm in Florida. So, we saw all like we know who the new people are again in Florida. Every year it happens where you just see the people piling into the stores and they're just like toilet paper, water, paper towels, and we're just like, give me a beer.
You'll be fine. Calm down.
Yeah, seriously. 3 o'clock is right around the corner and sometimes it's worse.
Okay. So this week, we return to the World of Dragons to review the second half of season 2 of House of the Dragon. Last time we were here to discuss House of the Dragon, we witnessed an epic battle during episode 4 titled The Red Dragon and the Gold. This battle saw devastating consequences for both sides in the war between the two Targaryen factions. The second half of the season sees both sides attempt to recover from these consequences. Over on Team Green, a new leader must be appointed after Aegon's serious injuries, whereas on Team Black, they now have one less dragon and one less veteran, experienced dragon rider.
Yes.
So 4 more episodes. What did you think overall of the second half and then the season as a whole?
Um, the second half, it was so after the epic battle sequences, I feel like unless you continue with epic battle sequences, it's like lackluster for action. If you're just literally watching the show for all in your face, dragons and burning people to a crisp. But for story purposes and character development, I think it was really great. It was super strong. It led to a lot of fun debates at work because a couple of the girls have started watching it now. So we've had fun really like trying to play off of each other and our ideas of what's happening to which characters. So yeah, overall it was fun. The season was good. I feel like it kind of landed on a weird note for me. I was kind of left a little disappointed, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, overall, I mean, it was still an enjoyable show, and it's still better than season 8 of Game of Thrones. So there's that.
Oh yeah, nothing will ever be that bad. But yeah, I think the second half was probably slightly weaker than the first because it didn't have like the first 4 episodes they built to that crescendo, and
Mm-hmm.
then the second half didn't have its own crescendo part. It was kind of just like
Yeah.
the crescendo was really like the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and actually the big part of the second half is definitely the dragon claiming scenes. They were
Yes.
probably one of the coolest scenes of the season. But yeah, it was largely a slow burn. I think the season as a whole had some high points and some low points. I feel like a lot of this could have just been condensed into maybe 4 episodes and used as the first half of season 3. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty much like a filler season, really, because season 1 ends with the realm poised for war.
Yep.
We have 8 hours of TV and the realm is poised for war. It's like, oh, what did we really achieve?
Yeah, I mean, after that epic battle sequence in episode 4, we really didn't make a whole lot of movement other than creating alliances. And even that was kind of still lackluster a little bit, where there was nothing really like epic that had to happen to gain those factions. It was kind of just, oh, yeah, I'll make a deal with you. Oh, yeah, I don't like the queen. Oh, yeah, I don't like the king. Like, you
Yeah,
know.
like I love the political intrigue stuff. Like that's what really drew me into the OG Game of Thrones first 2 or 3 seasons.
Hmm.
It wasn't so much the battles, but like this one, the political intrigue like just wasn't all that compelling or shocking. It was kind of just, oh, we're going to go have this meeting. We're going to do this thing, which will then gain us favor with these people. It
Yes.
wasn't anything crazy. I think that like the most intriguing part was Rhaenyra's plan to get the bastard dragon riders,
Yes,
and that was an
absolutely.
episode. Like we didn't need a full eight
That many.
episode season for it.
No, also, I feel like there are parts of this that could have been completely, like, way shortened. Like, Damon did not need to spend that much time
At
trying to
Harrenhal
solo his
District
own
9.
shit. Yeah, like, it's cool that we see he's having delusions and, like, his character development is really great. Like, he's definitely coming to terms with some heavy shit. But again, we didn't see him for almost the entire like season. Like he was not with the queen. He was on his own, doing his own shit, trying to recruit people, but also dealing with his own stuff. And it was just kind of like, oh yeah, I what's going on again with this? And I feel like you kind of had that problem with some of these characters where they did their own, they went off on their own to do stuff, and you kind of forgot about their mission.
Mhm. Yeah, I think like what they were trying to do there is because Damon was such a magnetic character in season one, I think they were trying to push him away a little bit so that Rhaenyra could stand up and be a little bit more powerful in this season.
Hmm.
Um, but and I think they were also trying to give you that idea of, oh, there's going to be like infighting between those two, and
Right.
then she shows up and he just immediately submits. It's like, oh, okay, whatever. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
it
was,
was
it
just
kind of made that
weird.
whole journey pointless at that point. He could have like visited that in a day's ride and then came back and said, "Okay, cool. We have people now."
Yeah, so it was a bit weird.
Yeah.
I think this whole season sort of encapsulates a trend that we're seeing in TV where I hate this trend of 8 episode seasons of like these big HBO like style productions like we've seen with this one, Last of Us. Um, what else have we seen recently that's been like that? But like, yeah, a lot of shows where we get 8 episode seasons and
Mhm.
then oh, Stranger Things is another one, like 6 to 8 episode seasons, and then it's 1 or 2 years between seasons. Like I remember when the norm used to be like, here's 20, 22 episodes of a show like Lost, hour-long
Yeah.
episodes, and you'd get 22 episodes a year every freaking year.
Yeah. I think maybe, and it's just me kind of like trying to look at all aspects of it. I think these are a lot more expensive to produce probably than, I mean, Lost for its time was really expensive, but now things have come so far that,
Oh, this show's
it's
definitely
a lot of,
expensive to make.
yeah, and then they also like with Lost, they kind of had creative freedom because there wasn't really a whole lot to base it off of. Whereas this one, they try to stay true to the lore of the books and stuff like that because they don't want to fucking piss off the fandom and shit like that. So I feel like there's a little bit more pressure. But again, yeah, I mean, it's kind of disappointing because you wait literally the new season of this will not be in production until next year. So we're going to be
Hmm.
waiting 2 years before we see another episode of House of the Dragon. And there are spin-off series that are in the works. There's that new other one coming out like I think next year. But it's just kind of, you get confused, and sometimes not everybody wants to revisit the season before to prep for the new one. Sometimes people are just like, I don't have the capacity to fucking pay attention for that fucking long again, you know. I committed for 8 hours already. Yeah, I don't want to redo it.
Yeah, I feel like it's also like a case of they're doing it so that the actors have a chance to go and do other projects so that they don't kind of burn out on stuff. But
Hmm.
I remember, yeah, like you used to sign, like if an actor signed on for a show, they were 100% committed to that show until that show died.
Yeah.
And with a show like this, where they've already said that this will only be 4 seasons, um, couldn't we have committed 100% to film all 4 seasons back to back to
Back to
back
back.
and then produce and get them out year after year after year, 4 years in a row?
Yeah, or even if they just split it and they did it season 1 and 2 back to back and then season 3 and 4 back to back. It would have been a nice kind of way to do that, and then they could still have done those like other series in between as filler, because then we wouldn't be waiting 2 years for a show. We'd only been waiting maybe a year or 9 months, something like that. So yeah, it's I mean, I'll always go back to them, and I love and I get excited about things like that. But then sometimes you get stuck like with filler episodes, and you're like, wow, I waited 2 whole fucking years and you gave me 8 episodes and I could have just condensed this to 6.
Mhm. Yeah, and I guess it's also a fact of like the streaming model as well, where
Yeah.
particularly like HBO, they're doing. So we had House of the Dragon season 1. At the end of that season, they put out the first trailer for The Last of Us. The
Mm-hmm.
next year, they released The Last of Us,
Yep.
and then I think at the end of that, they teased House of the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So
And now
then
we just got the trailer for Last of Us.
then we got House of the Dragon this year. So it's gone
Yeah.
House of the Dragon, Last of Us the next year, House of the
Mm-hmm.
Dragon. Next year, we're getting Last of Us. They also teased Dune Prophecy at the end of this season as
Yes.
well. So that's, I assume, next year. Like next year, they
I
have a
think it's
pretty
actually
stacked.
sooner. I
Actually,
think
yeah, it
Dune
might be this
Prophecy
year.
is sooner, because I'm really that is one thing I'm really stoked about. I know we're getting sidetracked, but I never saw the original Dune movie, but I was fully committed to the new ones when they came out, and Dune Prophecy is something I am very excited to see. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, HBO like have some really big budget, high production value shows coming up, like the House of the Dragon, the spin off. I can't remember what it's called, but they've got that. They've got Dune Prophecy.
Hmm.
They got Last of Us. So like next, the end of this year and early next year, like their slate is pretty stacked. But I just wish that like they could have just been like, oh yeah, and now next year you're going to get the conclusion, like season 3 of of House of the Dragon, and then the year after you'll get the conclusion season 4, and then we'll go into the spin-offs.
Yeah,
Like I don't like the
because I
spin-offs being interstitials between 2 seasons of a show.
well, yeah, because then it leads to confusion, especially if, like, I mean, I fucking have ADHD all around. So when I'm watching a series and then there's like another series that's extremely similar to that, I'll get my fucking characters mixed up 24/7. Same thing happens to me with movies. Like, you put all the Saw movies in front of me, and after like the third one, I get them all fucked up together because I'm just like, wait a second, didn't I just see the same as that fucking thing? So it's a very similar concept where when you release something that's very similar, you just get them all confused with each other. And there are a ton of shows now that are coming out that are within like this like medieval kind of time period, or like a Viking time period, and it's just like a big thing right now, so they're taking advantage of it, but it's just yeah, it can get messy.
Oh yeah, like especially this, like because it is so reliant on the characters and understanding the characters, understanding who they've backstabbed, who they've plotted with, like all of that sort of stuff. Like to then have this interstitial coming up that's, I believe, set 100 years after House of the Dragon, but 100 years before Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
It's a mess.
overly complex. That's messy.
I mean, we're already having to keep track of so many characters and has the dragon. I literally was talking to one of the girls the other day at work about it, and she goes, wait a second, who's Damon again to this person, and like what's that I was like, oh, it's real complicated, let me get you a map. Like, this
That's
person's
his
related to this
that's his
person.
wife, but also his sister
This
and
is-
his
this-
niece. And it's like,
yeah, and then that was her best friend who married her dad, so now technically that's like her stepmom, but not really, but yeah, what?
yeah, it's
It
weird.
just gets so the fact that we're getting more, we'll probably have another really complex line of characters in that new series. It's just going to add to that whole fuckery.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah. Otherwise, like I was relatively happy with it. Wasn't particularly happy with like the finale sets up a cool third season.
Yeah.
but I don't think it was in the right spot.
I also don't think it needed to be, what, 75 minutes,
Oh, no.
74 minutes,
No,
something like
no.
that. It was very dragged out.
Um, I feel like it would have been better as episode 7, not
Hmm.
8. Because
Yeah.
personally, this season should have ended on that final scene of episode 7 with Rhaenyra and the dragons. Because that
Yeah.
was the epic final shot. And
Yeah, it would have been
this one,
fantastic.
the epic final shot was like a sunset. Like, okay.
No big deal. Yeah, and like the ending was very drawn out, like especially like the last 20 minutes of the show. It was just
It was a
very drawn out.
trailer
There
for
was not a
season
lot of
3.
there wasn't a whole lot of dialogue. There was a lot of wide angled shots. Just a lot of back and forth, like splicing things, cut to this person, cut to that person. So yeah, it was like watching a trailer. And I'm just like, did they get lazy at the end? Did they
Mhm.
just want to like push something out? Why? Why do that?
Yeah, it was like, oh, here's these 2 characters on a boat. Here's these people marching. Here's these people
Here's this
marching.
person in caravan. You have
Yeah.
caravan over here. Like
Here's Rhaenyra
Allison
looking
just,
out of the castle over the kingdom. Here's Alicent staring out at the sunset. Like,
yeah.
this is a trailer. This isn't
Hmm.
the end of a show.
No, it was,
Whereas episode 7 ends with Aemond flying towards Dragonstone, seeing the other dragons. By the way, how
and
good is
then
his eyesight
deuces.
in one eye? And then
Dude, for
he
real.
was so far away.
I'm just like, I have great eyesight and I have 2 eyes and I probably couldn't see that fucking far away. Like, dude,
But yeah, like
come
that was
on,
the
get
epic
real.
shot. We should have ended there, and that's a cool cliffhanger ending.
It was. I mean, it was a perfect ending. They introduced the extra characters, the bastard dragon riders. Like, they had everything lined up perfectly, and I go, cool.
Wait, we've got
This
another
happened, and I go,
episode.
yep, this could have been flip flopped, and I would have been happy if it had been reversed. Actually, I probably would have flowed better if it had been reversed at that point.
Yeah, you would have had to change a
A
few
little
things
bit,
in episode 8, but
yeah,
the vast majority of it would have worked.
yeah,
Yeah, so I guess what they didn't want though is to have the first half end on episode 4 with the epic battle, and
yeah.
then episode 8 to end with the epic dragon claiming scenes. Very
I
similar.
guess. I mean, you probably could have ended it with like the same 20 minutes, but like flip flopped the middle part to have Rhaenyra and her dragons there, like, after Allison confronts her or something, just have her looking out into the same direction with her dragons behind her. I don't know. But yeah, I just yeah, it was a fun season overall, but I just still feel kind of let down by the ending of the season. So
Yeah. I did like that the overall, like, this story has always been about um the relationship dynamic between Alicent and Rhaenyra. And this
mhm.
season really cemented that, like, where they went and talked to each other in the first half, they went and talked to each other in the second half. Um, I do like that Alicent, like, basically, she kicked off this whole war to get her son on
Yeah,
on the throne, and
and now
now
she's
she's
fucked.
basically ending the war by giving him up.
Because
And she's like,
she
"Peace, I'm out."
yeah, I feel like what she wanted, just it wasn't, the grass is always not always greener, that's exactly what happened, her fucking kid got fucked up by her other fucking kid. Like she's just coming to terms with the, oh shit, I made a mistake kind of moment, and the fact that she had power and then was quickly removed from that once everything kind of went to shit. She's kind of just seeing the issues that are going on, but yeah, fuck her.
Especially because
That's all I
it's
can
like,
say.
it's clearly a story about misogyny and, like,
Hmm.
patriarchy.
Yeah.
To see these 2, like, strong women be, like, the 2 pivotal characters, like, they're the to take a page out of Deadpool and Wolverine, they are the anchor beings of House of the Dragon. Like, without them, none of this happens. But yeah, to see her then lose all that power and then be like, ah, fuck, peace out. Also,
Yeah, it
she
was
claims
very
to love
rough.
all her children exactly the same. That's a lie. Clearly fucking
Yeah,
not.
no.
Helena
Nope.
is absolutely her favorite.
Yeah. Although to be fair, Helena hasn't really done a whole lot to fuck anybody over, so I feel like that's
Yeah,
just like a
she's innocent.
safe
She's just
kid
like,
to
I
go
don't want
with.
to hurt anyone.
No, she's like, I've seen shit, and
She's seen a
I
lot of
know
shit.
the outcome. I know the outcome of a lot of things. I don't want any part of that. Like, can I just be a commoner at this point? That's how I feel she would be. Just put me in a commoner spot. I'm cool.
Yeah, I don't want to ride dragon. I don't want to burn no one.
No.
Which
And
apparently is a big
Eamon,
change from the book.
is it really?
Yeah, apparently she loves to fly around on Dreamfire and like that's her favorite thing. And I guess
Is burning people?
no. I guess like she might still be like that, but we don't really see her doing that at all. Like I would
Yeah.
love to see her just going out for like a Sunday drive on her dragon.
Yep.
Um yeah, she kind of just doesn't want to do it. And yeah, she definitely doesn't want to burn people. And then Aemon, the jackass, tries to force her to, and she's like, "No, you burned your brother." He's like, "That's a lie." She's like, "I done seen it, you bitch."
Yeah, like I'm gonna call you out. I like how he's threatening to kill his own sister. Like, I could have you killed. Okay. Same outcome.
Yeah,
Good luck,
you're gonna
bro.
die, bitch.
I don't really care. It's not gonna affect the way anything happens. Good luck.
She's like, you're still dead, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You don't scare me.
I just yeah, that was hilarious. Like she cracked me up a little bit. I liked her a lot. I kind of felt bad for and I can't remember her fucking name to save my life, but the one girl that went off on her own to go talk to the other queen, lady of the house person on her own. You know what I'm talking about? The teenager lady like girl who finds
Sheep
another
stealer.
wild.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lady
I
Raina.
forget her
She
fucking
gets
name.
sent to the Vale.
Yeah, and, like, we don't see her for this entire fucking season minus, like, maybe 2 episodes. I
Yeah, she
kind
comes
of
back in
almost
like the
forgot
last three
about her.
episodes.
Yeah, I forgot about her completely. I was like, "Oh, shit, there's another one." I forgot yeah, there she is.
Yeah, because she's the one that tried to claim one of the dragons and failed,
Yeah
but
yeah,
didn't
and it's
get
in the
burned.
works. No, she didn't get sizzled, but I totally forgot she even existed, and then you saw her for, like, 10 minutes in one episode, and then you saw her for, like, another 10 minutes in this episode, and I'm like, I feel like she should be more important, but she's not. So maybe next season she'll be
Yeah, I
important.
think
I
next
don't
season she's going
know.
to be pretty important when she just randomly rocks up with her own dragon. Everyone's like, "Fuck, did that come
The
from?"
fuck? Last we saw, they didn't agree with you. Like no one
And
wanted you.
and when we sent you away, all you had was a tiny little baby dragon. It's like this big and some eggs. Where the fuck did
Yeah,
you get a full size dragon from?
that doesn't happen overnight. What happened? So yeah,
I don't think
I
there are
kind of felt
supposed to
bad
be
for.
wild dragons.
Yeah, I felt bad for her character, but at the same time, I feel like she's got a lot of potential now. With that just that one 5 minute sequence where that she stumbles upon that.
Also, Sheep Stealer looks epic.
Yeah, it's badass.
It's a cool looking
It's a
dragon.
great.
I
Yeah,
can't
it
remember.
was a great moment.
Is it big? I'm trying to see. I've got
It doesn't look
dragon
super
sizes.
big, although I'm comparing everything to like fucking Aemon's dragon, so there's that. That's a bad idea.
It's apparently considered huge.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's gigantic, which is Vega.
Okay.
Then you have huge, which is Vermithor, Cannibal,
Okay.
Dreamfire, Silverwing, and Sheepstealer.
Okay.
So that means, I imagine she claims it. I think in that scene was her basically it looking at her being like, "Wait, you approached me? I like that. Well done."
Do you have food? Do
It's
you
like
have
that,
a food?
like when Ulf claims his. I think that dragon, Silverwing, was just like, "I ain't never seen a person down here. I like you."
Yeah, and then everybody we were talking about that specific scene at work today because they were just like, "Oh, he crushed a dragon egg." And I go, "No, that's a pile of poo."
Mm,
And they were like, "No, no, it's definitely an egg." And I was like, "No." I was
no,
like, "That's a pile of poo."
that a dragon poop.
I was like, "That's dragon poo." I was like, "Think back to Jurassic Park where there's the big pile of poo." It's like, "This is the same concept."
Yeah, it's just got a hard shell.
Yeah, they were just very confused. Like they were all thinking for a hot minute that they killed baby dragons, and I was like, "Nah, nah, that's
No.
just flaming hot poo."
So yeah, if Raina claims Sheep Stealer,
She'll be
then
huge.
Team Green, Team Black, with
We'll have like
Rhaenyra,
what,
they
6
have
her son,
Vermithor,
Damon. Mhm.
Dream. No, they don't have Dreamfire. They have Vermithor, Silverwing, and Sheepstealer on their team. 3 of the
Mhm.
huge dragons. Then
Not
they
to
have
mention their
Caraxes,
existing.
Cyrax, and Sea Smoke. 3 of
Mhm.
the large dragons.
Yep.
And then they have, I think they have Moon Dancer as well. Pretty sure
Yeah, they have
that's
like
Jace's.
7. Yeah,
Um, I don't think they
they're
have
pretty
any of
set.
the small ones, whereas the other guys have Vega, who is gigantic,
And that's about it.
and Dreamfire. And that's it.
Yeah.
I think 7, or once Sheepstealer shows up, 8 versus 2. I think the
It's
Greens might be in trouble there.
I mean, you don't know they could come out with like flying elephants.
It's alright, they got Cole. They got Sir Kristen
That's
Cole. That fucking
that's
bitch.
right.
Fuck that guy. He proved he was a dickhead in the start of the second half, episode 5, when he
He's
wheels
so
the
god awful.
decapitated head of Melise through the town.
Yeah, he's fucking awful. Like I wish nothing but the worst luck to that motherfucker. Like I just yeah. I want him to get sizzled up. Why couldn't he have just gotten sizzled up and like irreversibly damaged like the king?
Mhm.
Like
I feel like him wheeling that dragon through town, that was like the tipping point that had all of the sort of lower class people being like, I don't know how we feel
guys.
about these people now, because they're supposed to be treated like gods, and this guy's wheeling
Yeah,
it
like
through town like a little bitch.
yeah, like they definitely you could see it on their faces. They were just like, what the fuck? Like we honor those things. They're sacred beings, and you're just gonna trot it through the fucking
Yeah,
town
you
because it's
decapitated it
your
and trotted it through
trophy.
town. Like, you're an ass. You even hear
Yeah,
someone in the crowd scream out that this is a black omen. It's like, yep.
yeah. You just literally sailed the entire realm's fate at that point, in my opinion. Like that whole part of that area is just completely fucked.
Yeah, that combined with the food shortages and like all of those lower class people are like trying to scrape by to find any scraps they can to eat because of this blockade. And then they
Mm-hmm.
wheel a full cart of sheep in to feed Vega. It's like, and Dreamfire. And they're like, what the fuck? We're starving
Yeah.
down here and you've got whole carts of sheep.
Boop. Gotta feed the dragon. Gotta protect everybody. That's the
Mm,
excuse.
yeah. And even and then Rhaenyra takes advantage of that by like sending in
Shipping
some
shit.
boats with some food on it, just like, hey, I'm looking after you guys. It's all good.
Remember when the time comes, who's your rightful heir?
Yeah. And Kristen continues to prove that he's an ass when uh, Aemond is placed as the king regent, and then he just totally blindside his mistress. Like, nah, I'm not backing you anymore. I back
Okay,
men.
bye.
I'm an ass.
Yeah, what is Jesus Christmas?
To
I
be fair,
just
both
yeah.
small councils are very bad at that.
Yeah, they really are, but I feel like Allison kind of deserves it because she's just a prick. She's just as bad as
Yeah, she
her
started
fucking
this all.
kid.
All she had to
Yeah,
do
I
was
feel
not
no
say that
sympathy.
he was supposed to be the heir. It's like, you just. But like we said in the last episode, I understand where she made the mistake,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that she's now realizing, oh, I fucked up.
Yep.
But it's a bit late now. There's gonna have to be a lot of bloodshed. A lot of people are gonna have to die to fix this now.
Yeah,
Even though she tries
it's
to
not
get out of it
good.
without like people dying, she's like, hey, he's gonna fly here. When he does that, you come to King's Landing, and we'll just lay down. It's like,
Yep.
yeah, that's not how it works though, because everyone's gonna be like, what happened to the king? He needs to die.
Yeah.
Can't just take
Yeah,
over.
and they just kind of she's setting herself up for a disaster. She's going to get such negative feedback from everybody, whether it be her kids, her town folk, like everybody's just going to be like everybody hates Allison because she can't make anybody happy anymore.
She's gonna get screwed over though. because like
It's
she
gonna be
was like
great.
she finally make Rhaenyra forces her to make that deal of like it has to be a son for a son,
Yep.
even though that would mean technically two of Alicent's kids have died. But whatever.
Y-
Like
Yeah, we're not
it'd
gonna
be
do math.
her son and her grandson have to die apparently.
Yeah,
But that wasn't Rhaenyra's fault. That was Damon's fuck up.
Damon being a fucking jackass.
But yeah, so she agrees that okay, I get it. You have to kill Aegon in order to claim the throne correctly. So she, yep, I'll set that up. We'll get that going. And then
Yeah,
Aegon's like, nope, fuck that, I'm out. So he bails.
yeah.
So like season 3, Rhaenyra's gonna show up and then be like, bitch, we made a deal. Where is he? What are you doing?
Where's the kid?
What'd you do? Where's he going? And she's gonna be like, oh. And he's gonna be like, I don't believe you. Where is he?
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be so bad. I'm excited to see how that all pans out for her.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she'll just like, I don't know. They'll like exile her or something and she'll just become like one with the woods. Just
Yeah, I guess.
go venture out there.
Are you a trading card collector or a fan of Australian pro wrestling? If so, you're not going to want to miss out on the limited edition Australian wrestling cards. Each set includes 50 packs of 10 cards, including some of the country's top wrestling talents like Robbie Eagles, Shane Haste, Madison Eagles, Hartley Jackson, and they have Shaza McKenzie listed, although she is not a favorite. The velocities, and a lot more. There's wrestlers, referees, announcers, commentators that are featured, giving you a full appreciation of the Australian independent scene. The cards sold out a lot faster because cards are hot right now, as I'm sure Jeremy Lambert will tell you. But you can order your Australian wrestling cards now at Pario Magazine. That's PARIO magazine.com.au/AUS WRES cards. Follow Australian Wrestling Cards on social media at AusResCards for updates. Join the hundreds of fans who have already discovered the excitement of Australian wrestling cards.
A couple of the other sort of major characters. Emmond steps up and becomes the King Regent. He's much more proactive and commanding in the way he leads the kingdom in terms of battle and stuff. Reminds his mother of her place and says that she's been kicked off the small council to go and return to her domestic disputes. I'm like, oh, domestic pursuits. I'm like, eee.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
You gonna say that to your mom?
He wasted no time clearing house. Just like, I don't need you. Goodbye.
He's basically the JD Vance of Westeros. Am I wrong?
I mean, I'm sure that all the childless cat ladies would agree with you.
He tells her, you women belong in the kitchen, giving birth, and that's it. It's like, oh, bro, calm down.
I mean, it sounds like most of the political parties around here now, and just. I'm so glad it's an election year.
That is until he realizes I need my sister to help because I'm a little scaredy little bitch.
Shit. I take it all back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then all of a
All
sudden
women
the
except
ladies
you.
are important.
Yeah, again.
Jackass. But yeah, I did like his sort of progression in this season where, like, he's always been a bit sinister and clearly evil.
Yeah.
But when he got Vhagar, he became very cocky, very arrogant, sort of, no one can beat me, whatever, I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
And then that scene in episode 7 where he sees the other dragons with Rhaenyra and he's like, okay, I can be beat now. I'm kind of a little bit concerned about that. And then turns into this furious, vengeful guy, like going and just burning a town because he's got the grumps.
Yeah.
Jackass.
But
So, yeah.
they say women are emotional.
Yeah, he's very bad.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Jacaerys, Rhaenyra's son. He goes through a lot of change, not necessarily in the first half of the season. The second half is a very strong story arc for him.
Yeah. I'm excited for his character to develop. I mean, he's struggling with a lot of different stuff, I think, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
just he's got that whole like mentality of like if you're not of royal blood or you're not actively in the royal bloodline, then why are you taking over essentially or acting like you can come in and own everything?
It's kind of a little bit contradictory too, though.
It is, yeah, because I
Because
mean,
he's like, we can't have
look at your
bastards.
hair.
We can't have bastards riding dragons. Like, bro, you know full well that your dad is Harwin Strong. It ain't
Yeah.
whatever his name was, Viserys. Like,
Womp womp womp.
have a look in the mirror, dude. We know.
Yeah, it's yeah, pot
He's
meat kettle kind of moment there.
yeah. Even he says it to Rhaenyra, like, did you always think my hair was gonna be dark? Like, I was pretty sure. that was gonna happen.
99% sure that was gonna happen like that.
So yeah, like he's calling out all these bastard dragon riders. Like, that's you, dude. That is you.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that dragon at that whole episode of the human barbecue. That's what I've been calling it since I watched it. Um, I don't feel like it was the best plan in the world, but I mean, she got enough volunteers, so technically, I mean, they let them
Yeah, they were bound to find
slaughter.
at least one. You would think.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think Jaceres just has a great like character development in this one because like in those first couple of episodes of the second half, he's off like wheeling and dealing, forging these allegiances that Damon was meant to go and do, and then just started going a bit wackadoo. So he goes and he makes that deal with the Tullys for the bridge and the twins and stuff. And then he comes back. He kind of becomes a little bit of a petulant child where, no, we can't do this. We have to follow the letter of the law. It's like, bro, you already fucked that up.
Yeah,
You of all
there's no
people
lore
already
anymore.
fucked this up. Like, it's fine.
Yeah,
We're just gonna do what we need to do. We need dragon riders.
yeah. Let it happen. Do you want to win, or do you want to stay out here and be like
Do you
the
want to
black
die?
sheep, literally?
Like, we're gonna die
Yeah.
if we don't do this. So, like,
Yep.
yeah. But then in the last episode, he really gets his confidence back and he like puts Ulf in his place in particular.
Yeah, I feel
Get
like
your
they're gonna
fucking
have
feet
like
off
the
my
worst.
dining table, bro.
Yeah, they're gonna have
Yeah.
the worst relationship moving forward.
Well, yeah. Spoiler: I believe Ulf and the other guy end up betraying the blacks.
That wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
So yeah, that's gonna end up being bad.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a fun thing to watch unfold.
Who else did we have as big characters? Oh, we had Rhaenyra have a little bit of a lesbian moment.
Oh, yeah, they forgot what way her character swung, and I mean, whatever.
To be fair, I think
was expecting that to go
she's
further.
always been a bit like wishy. Like I feel like her and Alicent almost had a thing when they were kids and then backed out.
It didn't happen. Yeah, and to be fair, I really expected
They still
more
kind of
out
have that little bit of a weird like sexual tension.
They do. It's kind of strange to see it on like it's an unspoken kind of thing, and you're like waiting for it to like happen eventually.
Yeah,
But the
let's
character that
just
like
run away together.
the character she interacts with, I expected her to actually have a bigger role, and she did not. Like her character development is a very slow process for me, and I expected her to be a little bit more involved. And I feel like they started that, and then it just kind of fell out.
Yeah, like they have their kiss and then Miss Arya just kind of disappears.
Yeah, I
She's
really
not seen
thought
in
she
the
was going
next
to become
episodes?
no, I didn't see her at all. And I thought for a hot minute I thought she actually was going to potentially be a dragon rider herself. But I think she's going to have a deeper role probably maybe in the next season hopefully.
Yeah, I think she's going to end up being like the Littlefoot character, like the one that like hears all of the rumors and the like unknown spy that like gives you all the information.
Did you call him Littlefoot?
Yeah,
You called him Littlefoot. I thought it was Littlefinger.
Littlefinger,
I was thinking a Littlefoot like Land Before Time.
Yeah, Littlefinger.
One's a dinosaur.
Same thing.
Okay. Okay.
And then the other sort of big characters in this season are Adam and Alan of Hull and their dad,
Yeah.
Corlys, who they clearly know that Corlys is their dad, but no one's really willing to admit it until like the final episode when Alan calls him out like, bro, you fucking left us. We were in squalor. Like, fuck you. Don't be
Yeah.
showing up now that he's got a dragon.
Right.
It's like,
Good job.
I saw someone tweet. He's like the dad that bails on the kids and then shows up on draft day when they're getting drafted to the NFL.
Good on you, kid. Look how far you've come. So excited.
Yeah. But the whole idea of like Adam not wanting the dragon and just being hunted down by Sea Smoke, that was pretty cool.
That that was hilarious. It was just like you don't see many people getting hunted by dragons unless they're gonna get eaten. And this kid's just like, I don't want it. I don't want to hit.
Run away from the dragon.
Don't eat
Dragons
me.
are scary. And then the dragon gets to him. He's like, hey, I like you. Want to get on? Let's go.
Yeah.
Want to go for a ride? He's
That's
just like,
so good.
okay.
I guess this is happening now. Never thought I'd see myself on a dragon.
What else have we got? The other character I wrote down here with one little note was Oscar Tully, the grandson of the House Tully, whose
Yep.
pop dies. Then he like gets thrust into being the leader of the house. Gave off big Lady Lyanna Mormont vibes in that scene
Yes.
where he basically tames Daemon and makes him kill that guy because of what he did.
Yeah, that was kind of an intense scene. Like that was one of the better scenes I think in that episode, is like watching that whole thing unfold and like watching Damon actually kind of like end up doing
Yeah. Like I said, there's some really great
strong
scenes
moments
in this, but then there's a lot of like, okay, let's just get to the next bit. It's very slow. Wow, what's going on?
Yeah, I feel like some of these episodes did not need to be over an hour long. Like 45 minutes would have been fine for a couple of these. Just
Yeah, we could have like we said, it could have easily been condensed down to 5, 6 episodes.
yeah, longer is
less.
not necessarily always better.
Yeah, I just feel like this would have been condense this down to 4 episodes. Like, yeah, they could be 65, 70 minutes long if they needed to be.
Yeah.
You could have condensed this down to 4, made that the first half of season 3. And then if there's that much that's going to happen in season 3, we don't need to only do 8 episodes. We could do 10 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
we could have
it's all
just
about
done it in one
pacing.
big block. We didn't need to do 8 episodes of whatever.
Yeah. It's
essentially
definitely
8 episodes of setup after we've already
Right.
had a season of setup. Like,
It's
we've had,
honestly, it's like a filler season, not just a filler episode. Like it's a filler season, which is crazy. I
yeah.
mean, you get some good points, like you said, but again, like the majority of it is just fluff.
Like, I guess if it's going to be 4 seasons total, I guess we've had the 2 setup seasons. So these next 2 seasons, they have to be like full on, lots going on for the entire bulk of those seasons. Like, if there's filler episodes in these next, say they're both 8 episodes. If there is any filler episodes in these next 16 episodes, what have we done?
True.
What was
And
the point of
especially
16 or no, 18, because the first season was 10. So we have 18 episodes of setup. The next 16 better be freaking good.
Well, and also like it makes me wonder if they're gonna do like an eventual, because there's only 4 seasons, are they going to do that final time jump where like you see like Renea or well, hopefully she starts reigning, like she wins and she reigns over the realm. Like, hopefully you see some of her ruling, or is it just going to be like more build up, more build up? Oh, here's the war. This is what happened, and then we have like an entire season of the aftermath of the war, and then that's it.
Nah, I hope not. I hope it's just like 2 seasons of like all out crazy war.
Yeah, that would be
And then
fantastic.
like the last episode or 2 is like the hey, we've won. This is getting everything set up, and then obviously this spin-off that's coming because it's 100 years later can sort of
Yep.
dig into what happened after that reign.
Yes.
And then we've spoken about it a few times, the dragon capturing, dragon taming scene with Hugh the Hammer, who is the son of Princess Sarah Targaryen and the grandson of King Jaehaerys. And then the other new dragon rider, Ulf, the bastard half-brother of King Viserys and Prince Daemon. Epic scene. That was such a cool scene.
Yes.
And that, like, the cinematography throughout the season, like, there are some great, like, just shots that could be like art shots, like the unveiling of Vermithor with like Rhaenyra standing and then his head like slowly coming out of the
There.
darkness behind her.
That was really cool.
Awesome. The shot of Hugh with Vermithor's head coming in from the side, like in the acceptance, really great. The shot with
Yeah.
Rhaenyra and her dragon, and then Adam and Sea Smoke on the beach.
Yeah.
Another great shot.
That was really good.
And in the final, and there's a couple of shots in this first half as well, like when Emmond holds up the coin, like he's having that small council meeting, like the private one with Kristen, and he holds up the coin over his actual, like his eye, and then he's got the patch on the other side, like indicating that he's gonna die, like the whole coin on the eye motif.
Yep.
And in the closing sort of trailery part of this finale, there's there's lots of mirrored shots of like Alicent facing one way, Rhaenyra facing the other way. There's that heaps of that throughout the season, but there's a shot in particular where it's very zoomed out. Alicent's like tiny, standing on the cliff, looking out over the sun, and then it cuts to Rhaenyra in the like library with all the scrolls.
Yeah,
and
on
there's,
the
like,
this wall
the
of
shelf,
scrolls.
and she's like tiny in like one of the gaps in the bottom. That's a great shot as well. Like there's so many shots where it's just like art.
Fantastic.
That's a poster.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. There are quite a few scenes where they did that, and I was so impressed with it. I think I liked the majority of like all this. I had no problem either with like the graphics and stuff like that. Like the dragons look beautiful. I don't think they really skimped on their detail. They looked absolutely gorgeous, especially like when you get their full faces and they're just like you can see all their little scales moving while they're breathing in and out. It's fantastic. My one gripe is the fucking monkey that just
Oh,
in the
that was bad.
beginning.
That looked real
That
bad.
was fucking awful. I thought because I was watching it, I'll be fair, I was watching it on my lunch break at work today. So I'm watching it on my phone and I'm just like, maybe my phone's like
maybe
weird or something.
maybe the
But
like streaming quality has
it was
dipped down.
buffered.
Yeah,
maybe it wasn't buffering right, but I was like looking and I was like, no, everything else is fine. That monkey looked fucking awful.
The monkey looked bad, and like the background behind it was like very clearly green screened.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, that scene was bad.
Horrible.
That scene was bad. Also, did we need to see the mud fight?
That was very unnecessary. And her comment of I want to have your babies, but like not her
with my wives.
With my wives. And his reaction is just like, how many wives do you have? Just that's not a question you ask. It's excuse me, you want what? Just how many wives do you have?
Sounds fun, Finn.
I mean, but yeah, that mud fight was very unnecessary.
Yep, that's another part we could have just cut out. Like we could have just had the meeting. That was enough. Like I guess they wanted to show that he had to earn her respect, but whatever.
Still,
You could just told us.
And him with his little like song or whatever that he had to perform on top of a table at
Mhm.
dinner.
Yep. Yeah, it was weird.
It was that whole sequence was very awkward.
But yeah, like the CG of the dragons in particular was pretty good. There was a couple of
Beautiful.
moments where I was like, "Ooh," like when a couple of moments where they're like flying and stuff. I was like,
Yeah, the panned out shots aren't so great, but like their up close details are I'm
yeah."
very impressed with how they look. I'm not disappointed with them at all.
And there's a moment where like Rhaenyra, I think it was in the first half, like jumps down off her dragon, and that looked
Yeah.
bad. She looked like she had no weight. She kind of just bounced. I was like, "Oh." So that was not the best. Costuming is pretty great though. Like Damon's armor, awesome. Like it's kind of like
Yeah,
dragon scales
fantastic.
and stuff. And then the bald guy that like runs Harrenhal,
Yes.
old mate, pimping out with his cloaks and stuff.
I like him. He's cool. I like him as a side character. I think he's great.
Yep. And
Um,
Jacaerys has all of his cloaks and regal attire is great too. The costuming is
yeah,
fantastic. They
absolutely.
definitely put some money into the costuming.
Yeah, I'm not even like it's great, and I like how they've like they're a little bit different, but like they have very similar vibes. The color palettes are fantastic. Rhaenyra is very dark and like
Yeah, she's
everything
always in
there
black
seems
and
very
red.
dark and cold. Yeah, and Alicent is always in like the green or like the aqua colors and hues. But then what's really weird is like you see the difference in her kids' attire too, because you have Aemon who's like all in black, just like Daemon is, and then you have the king who's just kind of fucked right now, but he's still in like lighter color schemes and stuff. So it makes you like really look at their character and be like, oh, they're kind of like that one's sinister, that one's not so bad.
Yeah, like looking at it at the end of the season, Aegon probably not really all that bad.
Oh no, I think he's gotten humbled. I think he really ended up getting humbled. And
Yeah, like he
like,
was always like cocky and arrogant, but I don't think he was like evil. I
no, he
feel
was
like
just,
a lot of the stuff he was doing was because people kept telling him this is what we have to do. Like we have to go and fight these people and kill these people. And like, I feel like if there wasn't this whole dispute over who should be on the throne, I don't think he would have been that bad a king.
no, he was trying to live up to expectations that were made for him, I think is what it is. He had a lot of pressure to be the best because he was the oldest. And you have to essentially just do what you're kind of told at that point. But
Yeah, and like, because like even when he has that meeting with the like sheep farmer and stuff, like he tries to do right by the citizens, and then
yeah,
Allison's dad is like, "Can't do that. We need those dragon. We need those sheep."
yep.
So like, I feel like he's trying to be like a proper king and like do what's best for the realm, but then he also has this like war that he didn't really start, but he has to like fight to keep his place, so he does bad things. But I don't think he really wants to do any of that. Whereas if when Aemon gets control, he's just ransacking cities, he's burning this person, that person needs
He's
to
power
die, we're
hungry.
going to sacrifice this guy, whatever.
Yeah. He's on a power trip. He wants to show that he is the strongest in every aspect of that. And he's power hungry. So that'll be fun to see how it evolves and all that other good stuff.
Also, the other note I had for Aegon in episode 8, when he talks about some of his injuries, his pee got burned off like a sausage on a spit.
I heard that and I was just like, did I hear that right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back and re-listened to it and I was like, oh no, he definitely said that.
Yep.
Definitely said that.
When he
I was
pees, it
just like,
runs down
oh,
his leg now.
that's a very graphic way of describing your injury.
Yep.
Like,
And he also
ow.
talks about like in the episode 6, I think, like, well, they talk about his injuries where like his armor was seared to his skin, so they had to like
Yeah,
peel it off.
yeah, you see them like peeling pieces of his clothes off, and it's just like,
Yeah, he got pretty well fucked up. He's lucky to be alive.
yeah, for real. Like the fact that he even gets to still breathe is he should consider it a blessing, honestly. Granted,
Yeah,
he
I feel
doesn't
like
see it that
he
way.
should just listen to Loris or whatever his name is, and just get out
Yeah.
of there and just go and live off in the distant place.
Yeah. Who
Don't
cares where it
don't
is?
bother
Like,
coming
there's
back.
that.
Just you've got enough money. Just go and live a peaceful life, and
Go where
you're
no one
already
knows who
fucked
the
up.
fuck you are.
Yeah,
Yeah, no one's gonna know who you are. Half the people don't even think you survived because your brother's taken over. So I mean,
and they can't
no one's gonna
recognize
know
you because
any
you
different.
burnt to all high hell and look like your dad when he was dying.
Yeah, so no one's gonna know the difference.
And then the last note, the vision that Damon has when he touches the tree,
So
pretty cool.
fucking good.
There's a moment there where the
So
CGI is
good.
not great
Yep. Yep.
because the Night
There's quite a
King does not look like the Night King from Game of Thrones.
no, I think that might be the long lost brother of the Night King. Or maybe that's
That's
like the first Night King, and there's another one that
that's,
happened in Game of Thrones, and they're not really like
that's the Night King from Wish. That one,
yeah, it's not very good looking. It's
I don't.
definitely
Yeah, I
not. The
don't know if
dragon
it's
like
supposed. I don't know if it's supposed to be the same Night King, but like it has the blonde hair, so that suggests that there must for the Night King to be able to ride the dragon in Game of Thrones, there must be Targaryen blood
yes.
up there. So I guess the one with the long hair was like a Targaryen White Walker, maybe.
Mhm.
Mm. But
Yeah,
yeah,
there were some weird theories I saw online about that.
he sees
So,
the three-eyed raven, who is like a grandson of one of them. Sees
mhm.
Rhaenyra on the throne. Yeah, the Night King. Sneaky little Daenerys cameo.
The dragon eggs that look gorgeous. Like
Mhm.
those eggs looked beautiful.
Yeah, and then like the shot of Daenerys like the dragons hatching under the red star.
Yep.
Further proof of the ending of of season 8 of Game of Thrones. Kind of lackluster because she dies. Spoiler.
Yeah.
So yeah,
If you haven't seen it yet, then you're living under a rock anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
yeah. It
Um,
was cool. Like it again. It was a trailer for the rest of the seasons.
yeah, it was. I
Like a
do
double
appreciate the
trailer.
graphics of the I like the graphics of the tree bleeding. That was really fun.
Mhm.
I'm really curious to see what happens with Damon and trying to see if he has more visions
Yeah,
possibly or if it's
left
just the
Harry
area
Hall.
that he's in. Yeah, that would be really interesting. Like I said, there's a lot of fan theories online. I kind of liked the fan theory that Damon becomes the Night King somehow. That would be a really fun fucking theory if that actually did work out. I think that's probably my top favorite one that I've read.
That would explain the White Walker with the long blonde hair.
It would, yeah. Don't know how he would get to that point, but it would still be a really fun thing if that were to come to fruition.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. I just hope that we don't get another slow burn
Yeah.
build up
I'm good for a slow burn as long as
season.
it's necessary. Like
As
if it
long as
were
it has a
necessary to
payoff.
have
I don't want
those.
a whole
Yeah.
season of slow burn with no payoff. Like we had that
Yeah,
one
no.
cool epic moment in episode 4. We had the cool dragon claiming in episode 7. Everything else, whatever.
Yeah.
So what would you give season 2 overall for House of the Dragon?
Honestly, I'm probably gonna give season 4, or
Ah,
season 4,
season
season 2,
season
probably gonna give it a 4-star rating. I didn't like it overall as much as I did the first season, but that could also just be because first season you're excited to see something new and improved and see what happens with the storyline. But
and
for
you
me,
expect it to be slow and introduce all these characters and set everything up. You don't expect that
yeah,
from season 2.
no, so season 2, it started out strong. There were a lot of strong points, but for me, it's not a solid 5 across the board because there were some parts where I could have either done without it. I got tired. It dragged on a little bit too much for me in certain episodes.
Yeah, it was a bit of a slog to get through. I gave it a 3 just because yeah, there really wasn't a lot that happened across the over 8 hours of TV.
Yeah.
Um Yeah, it definitely didn't live up to even season 1. I think season 1 was a better season of TV. Uh, yeah, just too many low points, not enough high points. Personally, I would say the first half of the season is better than the second half
Yeah, absolutely. Can you please
by
sit down?
quite a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. I just
I-
it ended the halfway point ended on such a high note, and it was kind of hard to come back from that, I think.
I reckon you could take the first sort of 20 minutes of episode 5, put that with episode 7. That's all you need.
Hmm.
You don't need
Yeah.
episode 6 and 8, really.
No. All the extra fluff? Absolutely not.
Because you could take the end of episode 6 where Adam gets the dragon, put that in 7, take the 20 minutes from episode 5, put that as 7,
Mhm.
combine those to make one 70-minute episode.
Yep.
That's really all you need.
Yeah.
So 5 episodes, maybe 6,
Maybe
to
6.
stretch some bits out, but
Yeah.
not 8.
Definitely.
We didn't need 8 hours of this.
No. No.
So yeah, looking forward to season 3 still, mainly because surely everything's set up now. If we don't get epic battles within the first 2 episodes, they're going to see a big dip.
Yeah, if this doesn't pull through, I'll give it into the halfway point of season 3, depending on how many episodes they agree to for season 3. But if it hits the halfway point and it does not hold up to expectations, I don't know if I'll actually be able to finish the series or not,
Mhm.
because I don't want to commit to something like that if it's going to be a struggle bus to get through, and I'm going to have to struggle to just stay awake and keep my attention. It's not enjoyable at that point. It's just a job at that point to really sit there and watch it just so you can keep up with people.
Yeah, because even the ratings in this one, they saw episode 1 of season 1 saw record viewership, and then it built throughout the season. This season saw there was a 20% drop on episode 1 compared to episode 1 of the first season, and then it has built throughout the season. I feel like because this season was kind of lackluster and underwhelming, I think they're going to see another big dip in that first episode for season 3, particularly because it's going to be 2 years away. They really need to come out swinging in episode 1 and 2 to get that buzz of people being no, it's really good now. You need to come back and watch it.
Yeah, it got better again. Something like that. But we'll see.
Alrighty. Thank you for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow Karina on Instagram at Miss Karina Renee, and you can follow me on social media at Jamie Apps Media and at Pario Magazine. The commentary booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Apps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Apps Media. The following people supported at the publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support.